Hey everybody, I'm here today. We're going to do a little talk about Archangel Michael, and we're also going to learn how to invoke him and to use him for different things. I mean, mainly he's a protection angel, so he does come in to protect us in all situations. He's also the warrior angel, so that means he is the one who helps us fight our battles, especially when we're lost or downtrodden or things aren't really going well for us in our lives. He's also the angel that comes in to help us when we're moving on a big different part of our path. So if your life's really changing in job or health or any type of area, he's the angel who comes in when our lives are just changing into this bigger new movement, and we need some extra support and some extra love to keep us kind of safe and protected through the change. And also once it's kind of come about and we've been moving into it for a while, he's just there to kind of protect us and keep us safe for that time being. So basically we're going to talk a little bit about how we invoke the angels and how we start to work with them. There's different ways that you can do it. I like to incorporate things like stones and incense and stuff like that. So basically you can start with any kind of incense. It's this one is patchouli. If you want to use like a or more earthy scent like sage or patchouli or dragon's blood or something like that, that really is those are good scents to call in Michael. That's a great way to do it. And if you don't have an incense burner, you can always put it in like a little, well, actually you can use a candle and you can kind of stick it in the candle and let it burn that way. Or you can do like, like a little pot that has sand in it. That always works too. And then, you light it and, my lighter's over there. But anyways, you light it and then you just let it go. And obviously if you're going to do it in a candle, you want to be making sure that the little embers are falling into the space. So that's a great way to do it. But you can do that, and candles are a great way too. This is a green candle, so it basically you can use green for pretty much any of the angels because it brings in prosperity, it brings in wealth, health, all that stuff. So any type of green candle will always work with an angel. Also with Michael, you might want to use like an orange candle. Orange is great because it's an earthy color, or sometimes I'll use yellow, yeah, or red. But I do like the red candles, and I like the orange ones too, because the orange also brings in your emotions for the orange chakra. So sometimes it's great to use orange candles because it helps you cleanse and clear that orange chakra to release some of the emotions. So especially if you're feeling like you need protected, you also can be kind of scared, or there might be fears involved. So burning an orange candle when you call in Michael is really a great idea. And then I also like to use crystals when I call in the angels. So here's a clear quartz, and that's just so you can see it. Clear quartz is a programmable quartz, and you can really just program it for anything. This case would be using it to program it for protection, or even bubbling our space. That's a great way to also do it. So basically, to intend a quartz, you just have to really. Some people do like to cleanse and clear it first, so you can put it like in the sunlight for a day or in the moonlight to cleanse it, or put it in sea salt. That will also cleanse your quartzes and your crystals. And then you just kind of hold it in your hand, and then you would intend it. Like I said, for today, we'd be intending it for protection and working with Archangel Michael. So that way, then, after you've intended it, you can put it somewhere in your room or anywhere you want, and it would have that intention, and it would put that energy out into that room or that space that you're putting it in, even if it was like under your pillow at night or whatever. So that's a great way to do it. Another great crystal used with Michael is the rose quartz. I don't know if you can see how pink that is, but rose quartz is a great quartz crystal because it brings in the love and the light and stuff like that. So that's a really great one as well. And I don't have any with me, but you can also use smoky quartz, or you can use hematite, because hematite creates its own orb of light, and hematite looks like that slate colored rock. I don't have one today, but another great one is also amethyst. And amethyst is the purple stone, which opens the crown and helps you kind of work on the realm of the angels. So it's a really pretty purple stone that you can use to kind of work with the angels and bring them in. And then another great one with Michael is jasper. So the red jasper, that brings in grounding, it brings in stability. It also helps us stay stable from where we want to kind of work with energies and things. So because the root chakra is always based on Well, it's based on like our tangible stuff in life. So when we work with red jasper and we work with the root chakra, it helps us stay stable. It helps us kind of move through our life in a different way. It also helps us ground in. Sometimes we just need extra grounding to keep us kind of level and things like that. So it's a great stone to work with on all those levels. Then the other thing you can do when you're working with the angels is bring in angel items. So like I have a couple angel candle holders. They're just I got them in a catalog. They were just beautiful. I love them. This is the other one. So sometimes I'll put like angel things around me when I'm starting to work with or invoke the angels, just so that those things are here. Now, these aren't things you definitely need to do this. I mean, you could just sit around and do it yourself. But I like to incorporate other things just because it's a nice way to sort of let them know we're thinking about them and that we want them to be a part of our lives and stuff. And then this is another great thing. Show it to you like this. My brother actually got me this for Christmas, and I love it. It was like one of the best gifts I've ever gotten. But as you can see at the top, there's an angel behind it, and then it has the chakras, so that balances all the energy. And then it is made out of quartz crystal, also a little bit of red jasper, and then there's also amethyst in it. So it opens up the crown, and of course, using a tool like this brings in the angels. It's a great way to kind of work with them as well. And these are just little things you can use. Again, you don't have to. I mean, you can just literally call him in and start working with him that way. So I'm also going to show you a little way you can set up some stuff. So I'm going to hope this works. So basically what we do is you can create like a little space. I'm just going to put this down so hopefully you can see it. Okay, so like you can have a cloth on the table. That's great. And then usually like I would put my angel candle holders probably on the sides. So I'm going to set them on the sides like that. I don't know if you can see them that well, but so they're, they're like that. And I would have them facing me. So I'm going to put it facing me. And then I would usually put my incense, burning in the middle. And then also my little angel wand would be in the middle as well. And then I would probably work with the directions. So in this room, actually, we'll just do north, south, west, and east. So to use these crystals in that way, you could use, I would probably use the red jasper for fire because it's red and that equals the south. So the south is fire, the element of fire. And then I would use the clear crystal to represent water. So I would put that over here in the west. And then I would use the rose quartz to represent the earth, which is the north quarter. So that would be over there. And then I would use the amethyst to represent the element of air, which is the east. So that's just one way you can do it too. You don't have to do the directions if you don't want, or you can if you'd like to. And then I would probably just light my candles, light my incense, and then I would start to do my stuff. Now you can also add other things to your altar too. Like I have this really cool fire rock that my girlfriend gave me. She is a fire dancer actually, and this was on one of her fire it was in one of the fire pits she walked on. So it has all that extra earthy elements and the energy of fire and red and all that. Because Michael does tend to use the colors of red, gold, and white. So that's why these are some of the elements that I picked for today. So that's just kind of how you would set it up, and then you would sort of invoke him in and we'd start to work with him. So that's just an example of how you can do it. Obviously, you can kind of do it however you want, whatever is more like better for you. I mean, you can use what you have in your house. You don't feel like you have to go out and buy a bunch of stuff to invoke the angels. They're just happy if we're talking to them and bringing them in and letting their energy be a part of our existence. I also do have some music on, and usually I do like to play some light music right when I'm doing that. So basically what we do is you set up your system however you want to do it. And if that's, like I said, candles and things like that, that's awesome. Or if you just want a piece of paper and start to write out, what you want to work on with Michael, that's great too. So that's another thing. You can just have paper and pen and start writing what you want him to help you with. So basically what we would do is after we set up our little space of I call it an altar or a table, whatever you want to call it. But anyways, after we set up our space, we basically call Michael in, and then we start to work with him on protection, and if we're like trying to move something big in our lives. Another thing I do with Michael a lot is if I have really a change that I want to make and I'm having a struggle with it because I believe we all make sort of a contract when we come here. So in my view, you ask him to take you up to the divine, and then you kind of work with the divine to change your contract so that it's like if you, let's say you've been working on a theme of patience for a really long time, and you're kind of like, okay, I've had enough patience, I'm done with this, it's over, like this is enough to work with. So what you can do is you can invoke him and ask him to please take you up to the divine, and then let's rework my contract. So I'm kind of, it's kind of like going up there and saying, okay, I think I've learned this, I think I'm done with this, let's move on and let's do something new. And 9 times out of 10, they will say, sure, no problem. And you kind of see the shift in your life after you kind of get up there and start working with it. So that's the coolest part about the angels, is that you see the shifts and the things that happen like right away. A great example that just happened for me this week is that my daughter's in Spain, and I sent her a package on Thursday, and they told me it would take 6 to 10 business days actually to get there, and she got it Monday morning. So, and I sent a bunch of angels with it because I had heard that some of her friends had problems, like getting their stuff and getting it through customs and all that. So I was a little worried, and I just didn't want her to not get her package and have to deal with me sending receipts and all this stuff. So I actually asked Michael and his team, and actually Gabriel too, and I said, hey, can you just, make sure she gets this and gets it in one piece and everything's perfect. And Monday morning it was there waiting for her. So, and she was really excited. So I thank them so much. And that's the other thing. After sometimes things come true, or if I work with them and then I ask for something and then it happens, sometimes I'll do some type of little ritual or some type of gift to say thank you to the angels, and that's always important to me. And it can be something as simple as, taking a crystal that you have and just giving it to someone, or it can be something that you put on your shelf and you keep it with you in honor of what they did for you, or you can donate something to a friend or to the poor or whatever. So there's always a way to kind of thank them in some awesome way. So that's what I like to do. I like to at least give some kind of thanks after something like that happens. So that's a great way to do it as well. So basically what you're going to do after you get all your stuff together, and then you're going to just literally start calling Archangel Michael in and say, Archangel Michael, will you please join me in the room? And then you'll just take a few moments and take a few breaths and really start to breathe in that energy with Michael and start to feel his energy come in the room. I really believe the best way to get to know the angels is to sit in quiet silence, especially, or with a little bit of music on, in a room by yourself, and really start to bring them in and start talking to them and working with them one-on-one. You can bring more than one angel into the room, but sometimes, especially if you're not used to their energy or what they feel like, then it's hard to bring more than one in at a time, just because then you don't get to know the little, nuances that are them. Like when Michael comes in the room, usually you'll feel like a warmth in the room, and you'll feel his big, beautiful wings kind of taking up a lot of space, and lots of times too, you'll almost sense or feel like his gold breastplate, and sometimes he does have a sword with him and things like that. So there's just little things that you start to notice when he comes in the room. And if you kind of bring in too many angels at once, then it's hard to see those little changes, like in the atmosphere of the room, or sometimes, like, I do have a lot of people especially when I'm doing Reiki and I'm cutting their cords, because I always do that with Michael. Sometimes I notice they'll say, I felt his wings flutter above me. So that's always totally cool. So they're usually like, are you blowing? I'm like, no, it's just his wings. So sometimes they will definitely feel his wings like breezing past them as he's kind of cutting their cords and things like that. So that's another great thing Michael does. He helps us cut our cords so that we release the negative energies and just the negative stuff around us. And you can cut your cords with him as many times a day as you'd like. I usually do it probably 2 to 3 times a day, especially when I wake up in the morning and when I go to bed at night. And that's just to help kind of release any tensions or any worries from the day. Mainly because, even if you're in a good mood, sometimes other people can be around you that are frustrating, or they're kind of, bothering you and things like that. And that energy can come at you, and you just kind of want to clear and cleanse that at the end of the day. So you can invoke him and then have him clear and cleanse your cords. So basically you just kind of call him in the room, do some breathing, allow yourself to sit with his energy, really feel what he feels like. Like I said, normally you'll feel like a warmth come in. Sometimes people will say they feel a mist, or like a little breeze, things like that. And sometimes people see like shimmering gold colors, or they'll see red with Michael. And normally he has a very strong presence, so right when he comes into the room, you can kind of tell immediately that he's there. So that's always, the best way, like I said, is to just allow yourself to get to know the angels so that they can sort of really become more of a stronger part of your life. The more you talk to them, the more you incorporate them, the more you start working with them, the more they can help you on all kinds of things. And Michael can really move mountains, and I've seen him work in every realm. I know all the angels have like specific things, but they can help you on anything you need. Or if you need to protect your family or your kids or your house, he's a great angel to call in and kind of work with all that. So then basically you're just going to breathe with him, and usually you'll feel him kind of come behind you and you'll feel his wings and things like that. And then what you do is you just sort of decide, okay, what do I want to work with here? You know, if you want your house protected, you're going to talk to him about protecting your house, and you can write down on your list, you know, let's make sure my house is protected while I'm at work, or let's make sure my car is protected, or, you know, I really need my children to be protected today because I just, you know, have a weird feeling that they might not have a great day at school, whatever it is. And you can also have them protect, you know, your people, things, your, you know, all your possessions, all that stuff. So basically you want to do all of that. So then you kind of tell them your thoughts, your concerns, and then you just allow him to work with that with you. And then sometimes I like to have specific angel meetings with these angels, and I'll do it maybe once a month or once every other week or once every quarter. It just depends on how often I want to invoke the angel. So basically, I thought after we kind of talked about it and what you can do with it, then I thought we'd take a moment and just really bring him in the room, and let's kind of go through a small few minute process of how we're going to do it. And then you can do this on your own at any time. So basically, like I said, I would set up my stuff, and I already have mine all set up like I showed you. So then what I would do is I would just sit back and I would take a couple nice deep breaths. So just breathe. And then I would call Archangel Michael to come into the room. And you just say out loud, Archangel Michael, I invite you to come into the room right now, please. And like right there, I could feel the energy change. So the energy feels a lot stronger. Well, he's like right behind me. I can feel him, his presence and his wings right behind me. So basically, if you know, you should be able to feel him come into the room, and then you're gonna just close your eyes for a minute, and I just want you to really breathe for a second. Let's take a nice deep breath. Allow yourself to ground in, and let's just light up your chakras for a minute. Allowing yourself to be grounded and feeling safe. And we're going to release the tension from the day. So we're just going to take another nice deep breath. And I want you to feel your head relax, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth. And then we're going to let that relaxation float down through the neck, all the way into the shoulders. Let it float down through the shoulders into the hands. And then you can take another nice little breath. And then let's let that relaxation float through the chest and the upper back. And then we're going to allow that energy to float down through the tummy, all the way through the lower back. Allow the hips to relax. And then let's just take another nice deep breath. And we can let that energy float all the way through the knees, down through the calves, into the feet. And then just feel yourself, your feet right on Mother Earth, feeling her beautiful, loving earth energy. And then we're just going to light up the chakras to get you balanced. So we're going to light up the root at red, releasing any cares or worries from the day, moving the energy up into the orange, releasing the emotions, allowing ourselves to just feel very open, relaxed, letting everything go, letting everything flow. And then we're going to move that energy up into the yellow, which is the soul chakra. And that's where you'll feel your connection to the angels. So you may feel a pull from Michael right behind you. And then we're going to move that energy right up into the heart chakra at the green, allowing the love to open, allowing the space to just get wide and beautiful. And then we're going to move that energy up into the throat, the blue chakra, allowing communication to open, allowing ourselves to be open and ready to talk with Michael. And then we're going to move that energy up into the third eye at indigo, releasing the telepathic communication. This way you'll be able to hear what Michael has to say back if you're asking him any questions. And then we finally want to open the crown at purple. And this opens us up into the angelic realm so that we can feel and see and hear our angels in a better space. And just really breathe that in, let that energy float. And with your eyes closed, just start to talk to Michael. Just really let him surround you. Let him feel, let yourself feel his energy right behind you. Sometimes with our eyes closed, we can feel that energy a little bit better. It's an easier process because we let go of all the things around us so that we're more concentrating on what energy's there and what it feels like. And then what we're going to do is we're going to ask him to create a bubble of light to totally surround your body. And usually you'll feel it come down from head to toe. I mean, sometimes it'll go from the toes up to the head, but most of the time you'll feel it kind of cascade down around you. And it just should feel like this beautiful bubble of bright light that also feels warm and comforting and loving, like the most amazing hug you've ever had. So just really feel into that. Really let that energy just totally surround you. You may even feel him with his wings come out, and they may even encompass you. So you might feel the fluffiness of his wings. You might feel him just really feeling, that total encompassing feeling of love, light, and warmth. So that you feel almost cocooned in a very safe, loving environment. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a moment to allow him to cut our cords. So with your eyes closed, I just want you to say to, in your mind or out loud, Michael, I offer you all of my cords to cut, releasing fear, frustration, anxiety, anger, stress, and anything that is no longer for my highest and best. I give you these cords, and I ask you to cut them for me. And then if you want, you can even, use your hands to pick up cords and hand them to him. Sometimes that's a little bit better for people if they have that movement. They can feel the cord cutting better. And you will sometimes feel a little movement in your belly or sometimes in your chest where you'll feel almost like it's being pulled and he is cutting those cords. And then let's take another nice deep breath. And then we're going to take a moment to merge our energy with Michael's energy. So just allow yourself to feel that beautiful bubble of light that he has around you. And say, Michael, I'd like to merge my energy with your energy. And normally when you merge your energy with his energy, you'll feel almost like the brightest, most amazing light you've ever felt and seen with your eyes closed ever. Just allow yourself to really immerse yourself in that energy. Let it really float around you. And now once you've kind of connected in with him, this is the time where you'll take a moment and you'll sit down and you'll write out, on your paper, or you'll just ask him what you want to work on. So like I would say to him, Archangel Michael, I'd really like you to protect my daughter who's in Spain at this moment. Keep her safe, filled with light and love. I just want to know that she's okay and everything's going well, and bring her home safe to me. And then I could also work on other things. If there's other people I want to protect, or if there's something in my life that I'm trying to change, I would then bring that up at this time. It's a great thing to do, to write it down as well, because when we commit things to paper, we're giving them more energy, and we're also asking them to come true. So take a moment, write down all your stuff. And then once you've written down what you want him to work on, you can always, I like to fold my stuff up and seal it, and then I have a Michael box that I put my stuff in, and you can just use a shoebox that says angels on it, and just, or Archangel Michael, and then you would put that in that box, and I usually leave my things in there until I'm ready to relook at what I asked him to help me with, and then see if it's kind of completed. And then if you want, after things are completed, you can take that and you can burn it. It's the easiest way, is just to throw it in the fire or something like that. So, and then we're just gonna breathe some more. I want you to do like 3 nice deep breaths. And then we're just gonna have him slowly kind of merge back behind us a little bit. And just take a moment to really notice what you're noticing about his energy. Do you feel the warmth in the room? Do you feel the strength? Do you feel his wings behind you? The reason I have you do this is because every angel brings in a little bit of different element of energy into the room. Michael, to me at least, always feels very warm and loving, and I feel cocooned when he's in the room. I feel a very strong strength and beauty. Lots of times I do see gold in the room, or red, when he's around us. So I just want you to sit there and sort of absorb that a little bit, just to kind of get a real good feel of what you notice, or what signal or sign is he bringing for you. Because I think that helps us get to know the angels the best, is when you're looking for your own signal or your own sign. And then we're just going to let him float to the back a little bit. We're going to allow him to kind of bubble us with that light of protection. And then we're going to thank him for coming in today. Thank you, Michael. We're so happy you were here to join us. And then you'll notice that he'll either leave the room, or he'll just kind of step back, and then when you're totally done, he'll go about his business and do what he has to do to help other people too, because the archangels do work with all of us. So then, you can keep your altar set up if you want, or you can put your stuff away, whatever you want to do, whatever feels right for you. Sometimes I'll leave my stuff out for a little bit, just because I like to have the energy in my room or in my house for a little while, especially if it's a project that I have him working on for a certain amount of time. And sometimes for that time frame, I'll leave all my stuff set up, and sometimes what I'll do is I'll go in, and certain days I'll relight the candles, and sometimes I'll just burn some more incense. Sometimes I'll bring him back in. Sometimes I'm just doing it in honor of what he's helping me with. That's totally a personal choice. It's whatever you want to work with. So I hope you learned some things about Michael today. I hope you got to feel his energy, and I hope you'll leave some comments in the box below. And I also hope that you will ask me to bring in some other angels. I know I'm going to do another video, and I will be bringing in Gabriel. So we'll work on Gabriel next time. He's the communications angel, and he helps us with so many things. So thanks for watching, and I hope you're having a great day. And please leave comments in the box and let me know what you think of this video. All right, thanks. Thanks for watching, and thanks for being a part of this. Love you guys. Bye.